My last video was about Destiny 2, the final shape, and how that scared. This video is sort of a follow-up piece to that, but this is about the final shape, funnily enough, as it is now here and we have now played it. And I have to say, it has been such a good experience. And while we aren't in the perfect era yet, as there are still problems that can arise through things as the episodic system that Bungie are doing now, we haven't really gotten a taste of that yet. But so far, final shape is amazing. It's been a blast to see the 10 years of Destiny come to an end, filled with emotions that have genuinely at some point made me cry and other insane things. And not to mention what is to me the coolest day one raid so far in the game. We've come pretty weak off the last year's set of content, even though there was some ups and some downs, Season of the Wish being an up and obviously Into the Light majorly kicking things off. Final Shape has had a very strong start despite the launch issues that an online game faces. And not only are the missions really interesting and really well designed, they also include raid mechanics, as in you have to do things that you normally don't have to and that the average player might not have tried before. And this is honestly a really nice introduction into raid mechanics that maybe could help people get more into raiding in the future. And I think that is overall a really good thing to say about the story and a good place to begin. Gameplay wise, this expansion incorporates more raid mechanics, dungeon mechanics, and in general things to think about that most other expansions have. And it's been nice not just having a clear campaign. It has been a real breath of fresh air to try something where I had to think even doing the campaign to do some things instead of just being the same set of just AFK and then shoot a couple of head dudes and then run through it all. And it has been genuinely nice to try something else. And when it comes to the story, I'm not going to spoil anything because I genuinely believe if you are a Destiny player, which I assume you are if you're watching this video, you deserve to experience this for yourself because it is an experience. Keith David as the new Zavala does such a good job. It is incredible to see. And Charge, his ghost, and him and Kate and all of the characters have some of the most genuine moments I think I've ever seen in a video game. One that stands out to me in particular is a cutscene that I am going to spoil a little bit of. So skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. But like, I am going to spoil a little bit here. But it's about Zavala's, well, not his old life, but the life he had before he was Commander Zavala, while he was still a Guardian, or at the point, under Saladin. And it's about like some of the stuff that happened here. We heard some of it in Season of the Haunted as well, but here it's taken up a notch and it hits different. It actually just hits outright different. And the same thing can be said about mainly the final fight with the Witness, which is a 12-man activity, and some of the cutscenes afterwards. I don't know if this is how everybody else experienced it, but for me, the final cutscene in Destiny, in the story of the Light and Darkness saga, was me and the two people I've played the most with over the last 10 years. Sitting on a ship in space and listening to Crow and Zavala talk through the radio about what's next. It's a fitting end for the game, and it's an end that I honestly couldn't have seen coming. I had no idea how Bungie could cap it off in a satisfying way, but I've really managed to do that and more here. Bungie really slapped it out with this one. And on top of that, as if a good story and a good campaign wasn't enough, the post-campaign content is absolutely nuts. We are talking 3 exotic quests from the get-go. We are talking a raid that is harder than Last Wish and has taken longer than Last Wish to complete. And as I'm speaking right now, Daedalus still hasn't completed it. We are talking about having one of the coolest destinations in the game with some of the coolest and most unique loot. So I will say Bungie has really fucking cooked with the expansion itself. Some of the loot, and one of my favorite pieces of loot, is obviously the rocket sidearm, that strand. It's called the Call, and it has things such as Left from Gold and Warble on it. And it's craftable. It slaps hard. But even better than that, there is the new Lost Signal grenade launcher that has, well, autoloading and warble, but here's the catch. It is a area denial frame. That is a new frame in the game that essentially functions like Witherhoard. You shoot it down and it spreads a pool of damage around where you hit. But that's not all, because if that was all, then it would be nice, but it wouldn't be super unique. No. Bungie went even harder with this and made it a burst fire one. So you shoot 5 grenades grenades in a row from one click on your mouse that spreads area denial. It seems so strong from what I've played with, and it feels so cool to use. And on top of all of this package so far, you also have Prismatic, our new subclasses. Our new subclasses are some of the most fun I've had in Destiny buildcrafting, period. The things you can do on these subclasses are ridiculous. My current setup uses Getaway Artist along with just some basic grenade energy recharge things and Bleed Watcher to essentially every time I pop my grenade, my arc grenade, I also consume that grenade and I pop out a arc body, which is the Getaway Artist perk, but because I'm using Bleed Watcher, I also get a Bleed Watcher. And then I also use Helion, so I can have the Helion rift up as well, so I have the solar body, that's a new thing that we have gotten as well. So all of a sudden I have 3 turrets barraging enemies with damage at all times. And that's just one way to put it into Prismatic. Another thing I've been thinking about that I want to try would be Helion, which states that when you put down your rift or you use your Phoenix dive, you get a solar body. But Weaver's Call that spawns 3 threatenings when you put down your rift or you use your Phoenix dive. And essentially there are a lot of combos like that. You can do some crazy things with prismatics that were never available before. Another really cool thing is that now as a hunter, you can proc Starlet's execution off of practically any debuff while playing any super, meaning that you can play most of your time Investors by playing Golden Gun using an solar ignition weapon. Like, there are so many crazy things, and I love it. The build crafting is here and it is strong. Now, initially I thought this was overkill, like Bungie were cooking too hard, but after having played the new raid and not being able to get past the second encounter in day 1, I'll be honest, it is necessary. The new enemy race, the Dread, are insanely strong. They slap harder than they need to and they slap good. And I absolutely love them for it. It is such a fun race to play against, especially because it is something different, as they use all sorts of, darkness abilities such as Strand, they use Stasis to pull you around or freeze you, and it ruins some sections of some raids for me hard, because as an example in the new one, you have to stand on plates, and then all of a sudden you get pulled away by some fuck-ass, strand-using ass enemy, and it's like, okay, fuck you too, buddy. And there are a lot of things like that. On the PvP side, I only have played so far my 7 matches of comp to get the new retro auto rifle, but my god does that look funky, and I wanted it pretty badly because who designed that? Somebody on the design team got like high and was like, we need to make an auto rifle with a sword. And then somebody else on the design team was like, well, you mean like with a bayonet like Monte Carlo? It's like, no, with sword. And then he put it into the scope. It looks so wonky, I love it. It is perfect the way it is. And so far it seems that a lot of the weapons are like that. And that includes the raid weapons. The raid weapons are genuinely awesome. They genuinely look fucking cool. And the raid sword, especially being a wave frame, is really interesting. And now that we are talking about loot, I also have to mention that there is a new thing that Bungie seems to be trying with a lot of different things, making an exotic drop worth it more than just once. For one, we have the new class items that as of speaking aren't in the game yet, but in the case of something like Ergo Some, the new special ammo energy sword, you have it in the second slot and it takes special ammo. And the incredible thing about this sword is that it has Wolfpack rounds. Oh, that's what I would say, if you can get it to roll with Wolfpack rounds. Because this is multiple different perks that you can get randomized on it from different exotics. It includes Telestos perk, it includes Colonies perk, it includes Risk Runner, the perfect 5th from Polaris Lance. It is amazing. I love it. It is really good. I really like it. And the thing is, they have taken that concept and also applied it to the raid exotic, which we don't know what can have yet, but it looks awesome. And now, while the loot is amazing, the content is fantastic, and the general gameplay feels great and there's more build potential than ever, there still is one thing that worries me, and that's the episodes. Episodes is what is replacing seasons, and instead of getting 4 a year, which as an example last year we had Defiance, then we had Deep, then we had Witch, and then we have Wish. This year we don't really know how the episodes are gonna function over seasons. They seem to be bigger, but there's also only 3 of them and they cost the same amount of money. So it's a big question of whether or not you're actually getting your money's worth regardless. Because at the end of the day, if you don't get your money's worth, people are not gonna be happy about them. If they feel like it's too similar, but there's less of them, then people aren't gonna be happy either. And we really don't know what they're gonna look like. We don't have access to even the baseline content from one of them yet. We will by next week, as it was a major follow-up on the final shape, or it's supposed to be. And it entirely depends on how good they are. I don't know if I have exactly faith that Bungie will pull episodes off, but I do have faith that they'll at the very least be at the same standard of seasons, which is not a very high bar. However, Monday we are getting a developer stream, which for me is the day after I've recorded this. For most of you, it's gonna be the day that you're watching this. We are getting a developer live stream where they're gonna share with us more news about what is next in Destiny, what is coming after the episodes, and like what is the episodes exactly gonna entail. It's specifically about the next year of Destiny. A lot of people are speculating that there could be a Destiny 3 coming up, and I mean, on a logical basis, it would make sense, right? If we have just killed the big baddie of the franchise, the one that's been needing over 10 years to kill, just killed him. He's not there anymore. We can focus on an entirely different story, starting at an entirely different point, and it could also pull in a lot of new people by just having a big 3 on their box instead of having 2. And that's pretty valuable for Bungie, as Destiny historically hasn't been an easy game to get into. It's still viewed as being just a joke of a game. It's still the game that, oh, you're playing the game that vaults content? You're playing the game that has a content vault? Lol. And to get rid of that, having a Destiny 3 could be a solution at the very least. To have a coherent, consistent game that you can play from start to finish and also have a good experience doing so. And we'll see. Like, again, logically I can see that, and also see the issues that some people are having with it, mainly that if they make a Destiny 3, you will have to regrind your loot. Obviously, they can't just take the loot from one game directly into another without having to remake some of it, as there will likely be engine upgrades and so on. And that's sort of the thing. We don't exactly know what's gonna happen in the future. However, if it is a Destiny 3, I will give my thoughts in depth about it then. Other than that, I'm looking forward to see what Bungie has cooking. I'm looking forward to see what's gonna be next in the journey for us as Destiny players and what we can expect with the episodes and the episodic content. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly, just sort of what the future entails. And that's about it. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about my experience in Final Shape, mainly how I recorded and whatnot, because it was more unique than what I usually do, and just maybe get some feedback on it. So I'll see you all later. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate the support, especially on the last video. That's been insane, like more than I've ever seen before. Like, you all are crazy. So thank you so much for that. And I'll see you all later. Bye.